A turnip with a pistol, a pickle who isn't Rick, and a Voltorb who was dropped on his head as a kid. This is Turnip Boy Robs a Bank. The game begins with Turnip Boy being offered the quick and easy job of robbing the biggest bank in the world. The town where Turnip Boy resides, ironically named Veggieville, has fallen into dark times with wars breaking out. The pickle that's offering us a job lets us know that whilst the war's happening in the background, this would be the perfect opportunity to rob a bank. And with the cost of living increasing every day, frankly, I don't blame them. Turnip Boy has access to several weapons, consisting of guns and melee-based weaponry. You can carry 2 weapons and can switch between them on the fly. And you can have any combination of weapons that you'd like, so you can use your favourites throughout the entirety of the game. Now, I only use projectile-based weapons throughout my playthrough, but the melee weapons are just as viable. You have the ability to evade attacks, which is a nice feature, but you can get away with just moving out of the way of enemy projectiles, which is what I did for the most part. When you arrive at the bank, you'll always be placed in the lobby with a timer in the top right hand of your screen. Now, your goal is to make as much progress as possible and return to the getaway van before the timer runs out. Once you've completed your task or your timer is running low, the van will take you back to your base of operations, which we'll discuss shortly. Your health is indicated by hearts in the top left hand of your screen, which can be replenished by medkits in the wall or killing enemies. Now, the game's quite generous with heart drops and seem to drop them in abundance, especially when you need them. The amount of cash you have is also displayed on your screen, which is obtained by looting items in the bank as well as shaking down innocent members of the Veggieville society. Apart from the bank, where you'll be for the majority of the game, your secondary location will be the base of operations. Now, here you'll have access to several merchants and NPCs that will aid you in your criminal escapades. You'll also be able to research new weapons, buy additional upgrades like health and increased damage, as well as purchase items that will allow you to progress further into the bank. The money you steal each time you're in the bank correlates directly to key items you need to buy to progress the story even further, so it's ideal that you use your time wisely and make every second count on that timer. You have access to a cell phone that allows you to view your current tasks. You have primary tasks as well as secondary tasks. Now, the vast majority of secondary tasks will be obtained by speaking to NPCs within the bank itself, and there are several of them. These are essentially side missions and they aren't necessary to complete the game, but they're definitely worth doing for the humour alone. Prime example is this Starfruit, who is a self-admitted streamer simp. Now, you'd never catch me simping for a streamer, never. Well, apart from that one time I donated £200 for a shout out. Well, okay. And that other time a streamer said she needed £500 for groceries. Okay, alright, fine, and the other time I donated 10,000 bits for a sock, but we're getting beside the point here. Enemies will of course stand in your way, and they're quite varied in terms of design. Enemies also have the chance to drop weapons, which have a limited amount of charges, but generally more powerful to make up for it. Weapons dropped by enemies can be taken back to one of the vendors in order to carry out research. Now, once your research level increases, you are granted access to a new weapon which has unlimited charges. So I recommend switching to 2 dropped enemy weapons before you leave the bank to take back in exchange for research points. You'll also have to fight some bosses, which all have unique weapons or mechanics that you'll need to overcome. They also drop powerful weapons upon defeat. Now, the bosses aren't too difficult. So long as you play your cards right, you'll be fine. Turnip Boy can also change his hat. Now, there's loads of hats that you can unlock by completing tasks, so just make sure your turnip's looking fresh. The music in the game is fire. I'll shut my mouth for a second and you can hear it for yourself. Before I conclude Turnip Boy Robs a Bank, we do need to discuss the last section of the game, and don't worry, this will be spoiler free. So the game crashed in the last section of the game for me, and I lost a lot of progress. I went through the level again and died, which was fine until I realised an autosave hadn't been made, and I had to do the whole thing again. That's right, the longest, most difficult section of the game has autosaves disabled. To me, this was complete bullshit, and it ruined the game for me. The last section of the game does not respect the player's time. Time in life is finite, so when I play a game, I like the incorporation of a checkpoint system or a fast travel to skip parts of the game I've already completed. Now, the finale does neither of these and instead throws a nonsense mechanic at you. Oh, did you die in the finale whilst backtracking and making loads of progress? Yeah, f you. Do the whole thing again. I'll be honest, guys, I turned on God mode for the last section of the game. Now, it does leave a bad taste in the mouth knowing that this is how I completed the game, but for your sanity, I recommend doing the exact same thing. Despite the ending, I still recommend the game and I had a ton of fun with it. It just about gets to send your donut stamp of approval, and if you guys want, I'll pick up Turnip Boy Commits Tax Evasion and I can review that as well. That's all I've got to say, ladies and gents, so if you like my review, please leave a like. If you've played the game, let me know in the comments, and if you want to see more content exactly like this, go ahead and subscribe. I'm Senor Donut, and I want to thank you very much for watching.